This is Frank Yosa for another edition of the Wheel Estate Cam. I'm driving out to the Eastern Shore. Actually, we're actually driving back because I drove past the outlets during my first video attempt, and that did not go over so well because this is Valentine's Day, and what better thing to talk about during Valentine's Day than Granite? It was funnier the first time. It was a lot funnier the first time. But then it shut off after a minute, so that didn't go over so well. Anyhow, so I want to talk about Granite and staging. Not so much staging, but about whether or not to what level do you upgrade, because the question is always, well, will I get this money back and what type of return? If I'm going to put in $5,000 and only get $4,000 back or $5,000 or $6,000 back, why hassle? That's not a very good investment. So I wanted to talk about that. Do you know where my piece of paper is that I had all my brilliant notes on? I'll just have to wing it. I'll just use that. It's a parking receipt. Anyhow, so first of all, I want to go into numbers. You know, show me the numbers that say if I put in $5,000, I will make $10,000 or $15,000 more. I just wish that there were numbers. Actually, if anything, there are numbers that say the opposite. So I'm going to tell you about those numbers and then tell you that I don't think that they're worth anything. The Realtor magazine comes out every year with best rehab projects to do, because these are the projects that will get you 80% of your money back, 90% of your money back. I read this, I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's going to put in? How do you rant and rave about a project losing you money if you put money in? I don't know where they get their numbers from. I don't know how they analyze 10 homes that have a 20K kitchen and 10 homes that don't have a 20K kitchen, and then you average them together. It doesn't work. I don't believe in those numbers. I should say one thing that is scary, because it comes from the Realtor magazine, you'd think anyone that wants to spin it would be someone like them, that they would have found numbers. So that kind of does worry me a little bit. But from experience, actually seeing buyers walk into places, having that awe moment where they say, oh, I've got to have this place, there's something about this place. No, there's not something about this place. It's something is that it's staged, it's pretty, it's move-in ready. That's what they want. And that $5,000, I'm very, very sensitive about people's money, because it's very easy to say, oh, it's somebody else's money. Yeah, sure, go ahead, put in a new roof, put in new granite. It doesn't cost me anything. No. My business model is built on caring about the last $5,000, $10,000, and you can talk to plenty of past clients and ask them about examples where I'm telling them, no, we can get you another $10,000, and they're like, you know what, we're actually fine at this price. I'm like, are you sure? So I'm constantly fighting for the last $5,000 or $10,000, so I would not recommend putting in money where if I did not think that you would get more than that money back. So here's what happens in the calculation of buyers when you do not put granite. Because some people even say, oh, let's just put a post-it note saying granite of your choice. Yeah, that doesn't work. People have no vision for the most part. And the people that do have vision are going to be bargain shoppers. They're going to be lowballing you, and you don't want those people. You want the people who have no vision. And here we are driving up to the outlet malls. See, we're going to get a coupon book. See, we're going to pay $5 for a coupon book that might save us $5 or $20. My wife never used coupons before me. I'll edit that out.
Why? I'm not embarrassed.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, you gonna hop out and get the coupon?
Banana.
Banana Republic. No, we're going to Old Navy. Sorry. Do I give golf carts? Get the right away in the outlet malls? Okay, so where was I? So actual data and numbers, they don't exist. On the one hand, you have this like 80%, 90% numbers that the Realtor magazine says you recover. I don't believe that that is true. And then on the other hand, I'm just going to park here and you can go to the thrift shop. You can go to the thrift shop. I'll see you shortly. Don't buy anything without the coupon book. So then, on the other hand, you have the realtor, not the realtor, but the stagers that come out with their own numbers saying that you'll get 6 to 7% more if you stage, and that's not even counting rehab. That's just regular staging. I don't believe those numbers. I mean, staging's great, and we require it, and it helps people net more money, but there's no, on a $5,000 house, you're suddenly going to get $35,000 more if you stage the property. Also, how do they calculate that? Do they take 10 homes that are staged and 10 homes that are not staged and just average them together and say, you know, here's the difference? Show me those numbers. I don't believe in those numbers. So what happens when people do not, when places do not have granite? They immediately calculate in their, first of all, you lose 50% of the audience. 50% of the people that want move-in ready, they just would rather buy the other house, even if it's overpriced, costs more. They don't want to deal with it. So you just lose 50% of your audience. And whenever you lose a percentage of your audience, your price goes down. And that's immediately evident with first floor units. They're the same size as the second floor unit, but just 75% of people will just not buy first floor units. So when you have fewer buyers, then it's going to take 4 times as long, or you'll get offers that are significantly less. And in my building, for a 400K unit, a first floor unit can easily be 20 to 25K less, in part because there's fewer buyers. So you have fewer buyers, which is not good, because that means the longer it sits to find that right buyer, the lower the price. And we do have data for that. A home that sells in the first 10 days will sell for 1% below list, while the average home will sell 8% below list. So if you want some numbers, there's some numbers for you. Secondly, people miscalculate. They see the lack of granite, they're like, oh, that's going to cost us $10,000, where it might only be $3,000 to $6,000. They immediately calculate wrong, so they take that 10 grand and they see your price, and even though their price might be lower because you didn't put granite, they don't see it that way. They double, what I call double dipping. They take that 10 grand and they say, okay, well, this is what you're asking. Well, I've got to put in granite, so let's just take off another 10 grand. And well, they start the negotiations there. They might even start even lower, but they'll calculate 10 grand for something that only cost them 5 grand. And then they tack on the hassle factor. Oh, this is going to be a pain. This is going to take weeks and interviewing different people. And then what's the hassle factor worth? Another 5 grand. There you go. 10, 15 grand before you know it. And they constantly do that. They're like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. And I tell them, I know somebody that'll do this in a week or 2 before you even move in. On the buying side, I tell people, I want them to buy the place that has no granite, because we're going to get the 10, 15 grand less, because it's not as nice as the other places. And I know that we can get it done for cheap in under, you know, a week or 2, even before they move in. So let's see if I can find my brilliant notes, make sure, oh, I'm not missing anything. Yeah, the hassle factor they put into the numbers, miscalculation. Anything over $250,000 is pretty much, anything over $400,000 is pretty much a no-brainer. Over $250,000, you have to think about it, but I still got a bidding war on a condo that we put in granite versus another condo that was about the same price, that had sat for 150 days, and we had it staged. Ask me and I'll send you photos of that place. And we got 2 or 3 offers on it, 5 grand above list, and so I've just seen it happen. It's this balance between selling being an art and a science. As much as I want it to be a science, to a certain degree, you just can't do it just based on numbers. There is an art to it. When you've gone in with 100 buyers through properties, you see it firsthand, and there's no science you can put into that. So that's pretty much it. Granite all the way. When I say granite, I mean, you might consider the other types of upgrades, and that would be for you and the stager to decide. But I'm just talking about upgrading countertops. Is really one of the easiest no-brainer things. Kitchens and bathrooms, and also master bedrooms are the main things that people look for when they're buying. Thanks a lot, and hope you have a great Valentine's Day. You can read the rest of my stuff over at blog.franklyrealty.com, and make sure you subscribe to the blog. In the upper right hand corner of the blog is a little subscribe button. You put in your email, you won't get spammed. And also separately, if you want sneak previews, more frequent stuff, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube video, which is franklyrealty.youtube.com, and you can subscribe there. Thanks a lot, and make sure you leave a comment either on the blog or on the video directly on YouTube. And tell me if you disagree with me. That's fine. Start a discussion. And if you just like it, instead of just emailing me saying you've liked it, just post it publicly, and put a fake name if you don't feel comfortable putting your name. Ciao.